What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Stocks by the Numbers. And just wanted to do a quick video on AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, because I know this is a pretty popular tech company. I know a lot of younger and even older people have positions. They're always looking to play it. They're looking for a dip. They try to catch the bounces. And this is a company that has just consistently been beating earnings quarter over quarter, year over year. So, I like to do my total revenue to market cap analysis that a lot of you guys know. But, sometimes it just really doesn't matter. Because again, a lot of these stock prices usually trade based on future business. So if you're showing me a company that is just consistently beating, consistently growing their market share, making more revenue, increasing their income, just quarter over quarter, year over year, that's a buy. Really, it doesn't matter where it's trading, unless obviously it's ridiculously overvalued. But a situation like this really isn't that bad. We're looking at a market cap sub 130 right now. Stock's trading a little below $80 a share. We're seeing a little over a 1.5% bump here today. This PE catches my eye at 29, could be a little high. But again, they're consistently beating and earning more and more money. So not astronomically high like an Nvidia when it was 50, 60, 80 or whatever the heck it was. A sell-off in a company like that, totally justified. A sell-off in a company like AMD could potentially be viewed as a buying opportunity. So we have a good EPS here. This beta of 2, if you guys follow a company like AMD, it definitely seems 2 times as volatile. 2 times as volatile as the rest of the market. So I understand that beta right there. It totally makes sense to me. And Yahoo has the 1-year price target of $131. So you're buying this at a nice discount here. This is a max chart. And this is when, like me personally, I started looking at the company, was like back in 2015. And then we're going into like the 17, 18 area. And I remember watching this company between like $7 and like $12 a share. And that was when the market caps were growing. And I remember, because I'm a little bit of a gamer, so I remember that around that time, like 2015 into like 2017, right? They were at $2, $3, $4. Then they jump up to $15, $12, $11, and they were maintaining that range. Look at the volume down here, really started to come in. At the end of 16 going into 17, the company got more and more popular. And I remember that there was like that shift away from consoles back into PCs. And I remember it was games like, what was the game? StarCraft 2. I remember not hearing much about PCs. And then I remember a buddy of mine was like, oh yeah, I just spent some decent money and completely upgraded my PC because StarCraft 2 is coming out. And I remember thinking, all right, these companies like AMD, even Intel at the time, and Nvidia, of course, were buys. These are all buys now, because now this next wave of income is going to start hitting these tech companies as all the gamers reshift back into PCs and start taking advantage of these, new PC games and titles that are coming out. And that's exactly what happened. Nvidia at the time was like $8, $9, $10 a share. Within 6 months, after speaking to a friend of mine, the stock was up at like 25, 26. That was like a new 52-week high at the time. And then obviously we saw what happened over the years with Nvidia. It completely took off, and you would have made a killing if you got in that low. And same thing you're seeing here with AMD. $9, $10, $12, $15 a share, and then they bring it all the way up to $164 a share over all these years. $164 obviously is a little high, which is why you had a huge spike up, and then it immediately started selling off. Obviously, politics, a lot of stuff happening overseas, hyperinflation, supply chain issues, and all this obviously caused a lot of these companies to start pulling back. But at the end of the day, $165 a share was just a little too damn high. But I wanted to switch over here real quick, trading view, drew out the trend lines. This is a 5-year chart on AMD, and as you can see, it's staying in this upward channel. And we just saw it hit new 52-week low, 71.60. And it hit the bottom of this 5-year trend line and bounced up, and now it's at $80, right? It took about a week and a half, 2 weeks to go from low 70, 71, back up to $80 a share. So definitely a lot of people here are seeing it's undervalued. But what I wanted to look at real quick was the earnings. Look at this, just consistent earnings beats. 2.8 billion, 3.25 billion revenue, 3.5, 385, 4.3. Where am I here? 4.8, 5.8, and now boom, they're looking for 6.4. So again, over the years, to see substantial growth and make some serious returns on stocks, on investments, that's what you want to see. You want to see consistent earnings beat, consistent revenue growth. And that's exactly what this company is showing us here. Look at the EPSs quarter over quarter just growing. Look at this annual revenue, $5 billion. Last year, $16.5 billion. The income rising, the profit margin rising, quarter over quarter, increasing and rising, year over year, quarter over quarter. So definitely nothing to sneeze at. $129 billion market cap. Last year, $16.5 billion in revenue. So that's trading what, like 8-9 times total revenue? Could be viewed as a little high. We got a PE at 29, but at the same time, it is the consistency. It is the slow and steady increase in market share and increase in revenue and income that are driving this stock higher. And when you see that you can buy a company that they brought to 140, 150 a share, now you can buy it for half price down at the 70s, of course, everyone and their brother is going to step in and grab a couple of shares. So long term, in my opinion, I do think it's a buy, even though according to the numbers it could be a little high. And if these numbers come in light, you might see it break this trend and possibly pull back to like the 60s or even the 50s, where it was here. This is back, see down here at the bottom, March 2020. This is about the pandemic era, like right when it started, right before it started to really rip and really take off. It was down here at like the mid 40s and the 50 range. And a lot of people here, when it started to rise up into the 70s, were saying, oh no, it's overvalued, this is a little extreme. But, they kept beating earnings, they kept growing, and they took it up to $164 a share. So, right here, this earnings report, August 2nd, that's going to tell you everything you need to know. Because in my opinion, again, this 5-year trend right here, they're most likely going to keep it in this trend and possibly rise it up to high 80s and possibly even low 90s going into earnings. But then these earnings are going to dictate where it goes. Because if they do have a substantial beat, right, if we look at last quarter, estimate $5 billion, they came in at almost $5.9 billion, almost a 20% beat. Definitely nothing to sneeze at. So if they're somehow able to do that again, where they're estimating $6.4 billion, and they post like $7 billion, north of $7 billion in revenue, the stock is probably absolutely going to rip and probably jump immediately well back over $100 a share. However, if they miss, you may potentially see for the first time in 5 years that it breaks this trend line just because it needs to go back down to a more realistic level where it was back in the 50 or 60 range before it really started to chunk up. And even if we look here, look, if we zoom in a little bit, I know it's kind of hard to see, but if we zoom in, see, we got like a little gap here. This gap was filled just recently, right? We're looking at what, 71.5, and that's what it hit here about a week and a half ago when it hit that new low, 71.60, and now it bounced off there. But this is the gap that you might potentially see if they come in with a big miss. And, they had a big jump last quarter, and I don't know. In my opinion, it's hard to predict if they're really going to blow this number out of the water again. I know a lot of people are pumped and hype on tech companies, saying that they're all going to rebound, so it could potentially happen. And if they do continue operating the way they've been with consistent revenue beats and just growing their market share, growing their business, again, you are probably going to see this rebound into the 90s and 100s, no problem. But if these numbers are rough, and they do come in with a heavy miss. You know, if they just like got lucky here with this 5.9 billion, and then they post like this 5 billion that they were estimating, but now they were looking for almost 6.5 billion, you know, that's going to be like a 20% miss. And then everyone and their brother might jump on the put train and start shorting the company, and you might seriously see a pullback back down to like this 62 level, or definitely at least this fib here at 63.85. But again, this is just my opinion. You might think the stock's going to 200. You might think the company's overvalued and it's going back to $10 a share. You're definitely entitled to your own opinion. This is just mine. But, you know, I saw the trend lines, wanted to draw it out for you guys, and just wanted to make a quick video talking about how I feel about AMD. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave it down in the comment section below. Like everyone on YouTube says, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. Really helps out the algorithm. And if you like the content I'm putting out, hit the subscribe button. That way, anytime I put out a video or a little update, you'll get that little notification. And, you know, you can stop by, listen to what I have to say, and, you know, leave your 2 cents in the comment section. I'm usually very quick to reply to comments, so, you know, you'll never be neglected here at this channel. But once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate your time. I know markets have been a little choppy. We're having a good day today, but moving forward, I wish everyone success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. And have a good day.